There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show.
Ooh, hola, bon dia, alegria, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show. The live stream, yes, the live stream's back. What was I thinking? The podcast, and of course the Portugal Club, where you can learn Portuguese in 30 days. Stay tuned and see how that's going for me as I open my conversation with James this morning. You know, he and I have been trying to speak Portuguese to each other every time we meet on this show, and it normally lasts about 10 or 15 seconds. Let's see how far we've come and how far we can take the Portuguese conversation when James arrives this morning, which he will do at around 8:20 this morning. I'm talking about, let me just make sure everything's okay technically wise, and I'm going to rely on your help with that as well, okay, because we're going to play some music this morning. We've got things to juggle and to balance. There may be some teething problems, there may not. Let's think positive and see what happens. But I think everything's going okay so far, although one really shouldn't say things like that. Also, I'm going to put the thing on now. Can you see the bottom right hand corner of the screen there? That's where your conversation will be illustrated or showcased, highlighted there on the bottom right of the screen. So if you're feeling especially childish this morning and you want to write poo-poo in the comments or something like that, you'll see it on the screen, probably before I do, as I try and delete it. But behave nicely, okay? Be grown up if you can, and put things that will be seen there that are sensible. Let's see how that goes, shall we? Right, morning to you, T-Duck, and to Mel. Where was I? Yes, I was, before I play some music, and I got a beauty for you that I couldn't do justice the first time I tried to play it, so I'll try again this morning. Yes, this morning, James joins me at around 8:20, and actually some what seemed like quite heavy subjects this morning. And James, when he released his own Old Guy in Europe video on Friday, oh, T-Duck, it's like a red rag to a bull, is it not? Okay, stop it. That's on naughty step for T-Duck, I think, already this morning. That's terrible. What a terrible start. Okay. Where's what happening? On the screen. Yeah, there you go. What you've typed into the comments, Mel, is now appeared on the screen. I hope you can see that. T-Duck's certainly got the idea. Where was I? Right, this is where I was. Letting go when you can't let go. In his video, Old Guy in Europe video Friday, he was talking about letting go when things don't go your way. Now, I think it's fair to say there's quite a lot of things going on in the world which I'll own it. There are things going on in my country of origin. There are things going on in the world that I am fascinated by, and actually I'm trying to manage my connection with. I don't want to be overwhelmed or inundated with all this sort of information. I want to find balance. So I'm going to talk to him about what it means to let go, especially now. I mean, it's still very well, isn't it, letting go when you're feeling mindful and meditative and all that sort of stuff, and you feel like you've got some agency. But when you start to feel overwhelmed, what can we do then? I haven't even told him this yet. I'll have to explain it to him when he arrives this morning. But that's the sort of thing, you know, when things are getting a little bit tough and on top, as it were, how then do we practice letting go and letting love or letting life or whatever we might, instead of bloodletting, basically. Yeah, how can you let go instead of let blood, metaphorically speaking, I hope, of course. And then Bob and Viv will be joining us. Similarly, I mean, we'll deal with it in our usual light-hearted way, but Bob and Viv and I will be talking about perception, assumption, and civil discourse. I've got actual phone calls today with people who I've had run-ins with on my YouTube comments as a bit of an experiment in my own testing my own theories and testing myself. I've got a couple of, I think, difficult conversations later on today, which are around me putting my money where my mouth is and attempting to have a civil discourse with people. This will be off air, man to man. It is two blokes actually that I'm attempting to speak to, with whom I have had conversations that I'm not entirely happy. So I will be talking to them. So yeah, perception, assumption, and civil discourse. I think excellent topics to discuss, especially in the times that we live. Also with James this morning, the Portuguese bird of the month. Okay, so, and I'll play a musical clue to that as well. More of you joining us. That's fabulous, isn't it? Where has the time gone? I don't know. We'll answer that question tomorrow morning. Where does time go? 29 months, look at that. And thank you for your support in that time, T-Duck. I hope you feel you've had good value. And I think you are you're pleased about the return of the morning show. And let's see how it goes with the added music as well. Sarah also here, Team Yerman here. That's lovely news, Sarah, that your bike trip this year will be coming through San Martino de Porto. I'll be delighted to meet you and maybe do a live stream from the bay when you come through, if that works. But certainly we'll come and meet you, and we'll do a little bit of filming and recording and welcome you to the bay. Had a fantastic conversation with Nuno, described by some, by one journalist at least, but I think it's fair to say, is this the most interesting man in Portugal? Very modest. He didn't let me know until I did my own research about him, about all these incredible places that he's played his violin. And now you can hear him playing his violin on his catamaran, where he made me very welcome on Friday. And we tried the Portuguese wine of the week, which is that fabulous rosé, that fizzy rosé from Alcobaça, from Chinado is the name of the producer. And we sipped it on his boat. It was a really lovely conversation, which is on our YouTube channel. Andera, good morning to you. Bom dia, Malta, from a misty Aveiro. Very glad to have the morning routine back. Me too. Matty also here this morning. Bom dia, alegria a todos e feliz segunda-feira. Very good. Keep that Portuguese coming, everybody. So I think that just about brings you up to date on what we're doing and what we plan to do this morning until around 9 o'clock. And I think, yes, I think it's time to play a tune, is it not? I'm going to rely on your executive production, your associate production, on whether this is going well. Let's find out, shall we? The backstory of this particular tune, and it's so appropriate. This is celebrating the connection between the UK and Portugal. And there was a certain, and I'll bring you more information after the tune, but a writer born here. Actually, I don't know if he was born here, but he is of mixed Portuguese and British parentage. He's the guy who said, he was quoted, and I found him because he was quoted in our YouTube comments, saying something along the lines of, don't worry, you know, if you get a bit of Portuguese blowback. I think this is actually on the Portuguese's channel, because Tony does open himself up to quite a lot of incoming. And it was something along the lines of, don't worry too much when the Portuguese criticise you. The Portuguese will be quite seemingly rude to your face, but they will be very kind to you behind your back. They're more likely to sing your praises behind your back than to your face. The British, on the other hand, will be nice to your face and nasty behind you. I think there's some truth in that. And the man who said that, who noticed that, whose mother was British, his father was Portuguese, is a writer. He's a daily columnist in one of the Portuguese papers, and he befriended British band Jurati Column. It must have been, I would have thought, in the late 80s. I'll bring you more accurate information about this. But what they ended up with when Jurati Column came to Portugal in the late 80s, way ahead of any of us here. Vinnie Riley is the front man of the Jurati Column. Great, a band that I know very little about, and I'm glad to have been made the acquaintance of through this circuitous route. I mean, you know, I'm from the UK, where the Jurati Column are from. I knew the name. I heard their name, I think, on the John Peel show back in the day. And I really didn't know their music. But then this happens. We have this connection between the Brits. The Jurati Column are being invited over to record and to have a holiday, I believe, and a little tour around Lisbon in the late 80s. It must have been amazing then. And this is what they came up with. This is what they were inspired to write. I think it's very beautiful. This is Amigos in Portugal, the Jurati Column. I think that's lovely. How about that long sustained note there? That seems to have been met with some approval. So thank you very much for indulging me with this inclusion of music on the Good Morning Portugal show. And of course, if you have a tune that is in some way connected to Portugal, your life here, a Portuguese tune, the possibilities are endless. It is nice to have a Portuguese connection, however tenuous. So that's the album from 2005, Amigos in Portugal, when they came here and were inspired to write such a tune. Oh, have I lost? I think I had a little power cut flicker there. Let me know if that has affected things at your end. No, I think we're okay. Very nice, says T Duck there. And I'm desperately trying to find. There's a lot of interesting information about the Girotti column, worth pursuing. I would say there's the article that I've shared with you in the chat there. That's from Publico, and I'm trying. What I'll do whenever I'm struggling to bring you some information here, of course I can detail it at the Portugal Club, and I think we should have a few sleeve notes over there for anybody who wants to have a bit more of a deep dive, as it were. And I will give you the name of that writer, because actually I found his name now. Miguel Esteves Cardoso was the man who brought Girotti column to Portugal. A collaboration between Manchester's Girotti column and Portuguese writer and journalist Miguel Esteves Cardoso resulted in this 1983 instrumental. And people have been talking about that ever since. I think the article that I've shared with you there is from 2005. This actually looks pretty good, from atlaslisboa.com. More of the backstory if you would like to find out more. So I'll pop that into the chat now. Yes, James to come. Bob and Viv also are joining us this morning. I've got about 5 minutes to maybe have a look in my mailbag. Another feature. I think we'll have more regular features here. We've got some lovely things, of course, the regular things to share with you from. Oh yeah, there's the link to that information about the Girotti column and Miguel, who popularised them, or certainly brought them over to Portugal and gave their work and inspiration a Portuguese flavour. So yeah, keep those suggestions coming. Thanks, Mel, for your suggestions. You were saying that Lionel Richie is on his way to Portugal. There seem to be more big international artists heading towards Portugal. So, I mean, that's a reason to play their music, isn't it? I did say perhaps somewhat tenuous the links to the music we'll be playing. But if an artist is coming to Portugal, I'm definitely going to play some Sir Jorge on the morning show. I love his work. He's coming to play in Alcobaça. I think he's got a Lisbon gig as well, possibly. I can't see him. I'm going to be out of town the night he's here in Alcobaça. But Sir Jorge is playing in Alcobaça on the 9th of August. And of course, we've got that big gig where Fado meets opera at the Nazaré Bullring. That's happening this coming weekend. Mel, you've got your tickets for that, have you not, as well? Yeah, smash that like button. He's back, everybody. Bom dia, Carl. Here in Portugal, the hummingbirds are very beautiful. Mario, good morning to you, Mario Santana. We have hummingbirds in Portugal. Are they just in Madeira, possibly, or are they on the continental mainland as well? I didn't think we had hummingbirds. I'd love to see a hummingbird. Yes, T-Duck agrees. I didn't think Portugal had hummingbirds. We want to see them. Maybe we create some of those goggles with a bird feeder in front. we sit there while the hummingbirds are humming and buzzing in front of our very faces. I love seeing those videos, kids who've done that sort of thing. We could do the same. Or we could have a webcam, couldn't we? What about a bird feeder webcam for the Twitchers among us here? I think that's a great idea. So maybe we can get James to do that in his front garden. Right, what I'm going to do now then is go to a couple of issues from my bulging sack and see if we can find some relief with that. Let's play the Vingle, more Vingles, given the new format of the show. We'll have a look after this. Right, over at the Portugal Club then, let's have a look at Munson's mailbag. Let's see what's just come through recently in the last couple of days. Actually, I think, yes, the comments that have come in recently are quite well connected. Well, one of them is anyway, to what we're talking about today. If you want to add your say, praise, beef or grief is the little, I guess it's almost like a haiku, isn't it? Yes, I think I've got some work to do on my fingers and how loud they are. Thank you for that, T-Duck. Although that is an old-fashioned radio technique, is it not? Of playing things really loud just to get people's attention. I guess it could have the opposite effect as well. God Almighty, I can't be woken up like that every morning between 8 and 9 with the Good Morning Portugal show. Okay, yes, thank you. Noted. Right, over on the comments at YouTube, yeah, and this is the idea here with Munson's mailbag, sorting the trolls from the potential friends on YouTube and social media. Anything goes, and this is a way that we like to run the show, isn't it? Anything goes as long as it's friendly and respectful and legal, of course, with the intention of everyone learning something about Portugal and leaving the world better than we found it. Now, of course, that's quite subjective, but I think you get the gist. It's quite a nice intention to have. And this came up because I made a little video about voting, how residents can vote in Portugal. And of course, every time you mention voting, you get the conversation, don't you, about people died for your vote. If you don't vote, you're a terrible person and that sort of thing. And I made the point that, in response to the idea that if you don't vote, you can't complain. I don't think that ever stopped anybody. Nobody thought to themselves, well, I didn't vote, so I'm never going to complain again. I didn't exercise my democratic rights. So I really don't have the right to complain. People are going to keep complaining, human nature. And the point I made also is that when people do vote, they still complain because often and this is happening especially so, isn't it? Our dear friend who had the phrase representational deficit was a phrase that came up, wasn't it, with one of our correspondents here on the Portugal show. Anyway, Felipe Lopes responded to that. Bad mouthing is to say bad things about something. So, do you know what? I'm going to do a live edit on that. So I think that space was needed there. There we go. Bad mouthing is to say bad things about somebody. Criticizing, to judge with disapproval, to evaluate or analyze. Okay, I've got to do another live edit. I should have done this the first time round, of course. When you complain and don't vote, you're just bad-mouthing because you are not analysing to see if there are better alternatives. When you see no better alternatives and still complain, you are just bad-mouthing. When you complain and did vote for something different, you are criticising because you did analyse the problem and believe to have a better alternative. When you believe to have a better alternative and complain, you are criticising. You can complain all you want. When you don't vote, just know that you are not the same as someone who actually voted and complains. So don't try to make it as if complaining when you don't vote and when you vote are the same. Okay. Point noted, Philippe Lobsch. I don't think I will change my behaviour on that, but thank you for your message anyway. And that's not to say I just because that I'm not persuaded by your argument doesn't mean you shouldn't have made it, and I'm not glad to receive it. And quickly before we go to James, have I tried snails? I have. This was in response to try something Portuguese, tremoções. I think in the plural. Have I tried snails? I have, but I don't know if DJ Bomb Hit has or not, or what they meant by that. But so if you are watching DJ Bomb Hit, have you tried snails? Do let us know, and we will come back to Munson's. I won't play the jingle just in case it wakes more people up, T-Duck, but thank you very much. And who considers himself a troll and a friend. What a lovely combination, variously troll and friend. Not voting is actually voting for none of the above. Yes, yes, absolutely. That resonates with me. Right, let's play his music and adjust the settings. I have to remember to do this each time we have a guest because playing music and talking to guests are two different audio situations, which got us into a little bit of trouble previously. Let's see if we can manage it better this time. Let's see him after this. Stand by, hold on to the edge of your seat or your bed.
Bom dia!
Olá, bom dia, tudo bem?
Muito bem, obrigado. E tu?
Excelente, excelente. Muito bem, muito bem. Qual é a tua comida favorita, James? Ou James?
O meu favorito.
Ou tua bebida favorita, meu amigo?
Bebida é fácil.
Sim, sim.
E Superboc.
Excelente. Certo, verdade, Superboc.
Sim.
Para Senhor Oli, Jaime Oli.
Jaime Oli.
Jaime Oli.
That's the call I get when I'm at Centro de Saúde or somewhere. They're calling my name. Jama Oli.
Jamoli.
James Oli.
Agora em English. Muito bem, James. That was better than we've ever done, right?
Sim.
Am I right? Yes. That was
muito melhor.
And there will come a day, perhaps, when the whole show is
performed.
Oh,
perhaps.
We shall see. We shall see.
The thing is, I can understand as long as pronunciation is close with a foreigner speaking Portuguese, I can hear it better than I can hear it from a Portuguese. Because they tend to speak more clearly, more slowly. You can hear the sounds. In Portuguese, it's just sort of a wash of sound that I have to try to work out. So I'm finding it easier to communicate with non-Portuguese speakers.
Presumably, no, that makes a lot of sense. I suspect as well, though, your ear is getting better and better because you make this is a thing for you, isn't it?
Yes.
Tune the ear. You big melon. I don't think that is what he meant there. That's his that's his comida favorita, and I love that phrase, comida favorita. I think I'm going to write a song with my kids called comida favorita or bebida favorita, and a kitten has just come into the doghouse studio. It could get a bit. It could get a bit lively and energetic in here. Oh my goodness, this is going to be interesting, James. Do you remember the time when Jenny came in and killed the show and you were left on your own on the screen?
I remember being left on the screen
once
times or twice. No, but I don't remember specifically when Jenny did that. No.
Jenny the cat killed the show once, and there you were. I saw the clip the other day. Anyway, I can use this as a segue into what we might talk about, as well as the Portuguese bird of the month. We mustn't forget to do that. He's trying to forget the traumatic moments of being on the morning.
You have to mention it.
Well, this is perfect. This is the perfect setup for what we're going to talk about this morning. Your old guy in Europe video was a little trip down memory lane. I am loving those because they show me so many things that we've done and that I've forgotten about. The incredible meeting of Tony, Antonio, João F, Honk and Canny, and yourself, and how that went all a bit pear-shaped, and you used that as a way of, okay, life doesn't go according to plan sometimes. You've got to make the lemonade when you get the lemons. And that was a conversation from about 3 years ago. And I would say this whole thing of letting go, we are getting more tests, are we not, when it comes to letting go? So
it's all part of life, actually.
Isn't it just? Who said it? Who said we wouldn't? Right? Who imagined we wouldn't?
One of my commonly used phrases is, if it's not one thing, it's another. So
yes, do you know that in Portuguese? I bet the Portuguese have got a phrase for that.
No, I don't. Although I did learn, what is your favorite? It was one of the very first phrases I memorized before coming here. So when I went to a restaurant and I didn't know the menu, I said, "Qual é o seu favorito?"
Very good, very good.
And then they go, and I go,
Uma, por favor.
The menu?
Were you not adventurous and just saying, sí, uma, por favor?
Está bem, okay.
And you don't know what you're going to get, but it's a box of chocolates, of course. All right, so yeah, you made the point. Ordering in a Portuguese restaurant is like a box of chocolates. As is life itself, and you are something. I don't know if I should call you an expert in letting go, but you have a thing or two to say about the art of letting go. And the point I'd like you to pick up on this morning, if I may, is, I think, worldwise events, we're in an interesting time for humanity. So the whole idea of letting go is becoming, we're getting more practice. Let's put it that way. We're getting more potential practice, aren't we? So question being this morning, James, how do you let go when it feels like you can't let go? How can we into this
Well, I do want to make one clarification about expert. Let's just say I'm well practiced.
Yeah, fair enough. For me, that makes you an expert. Yeah, you are the one. You are the one-eyed man, as it were.
And it's actually the end product of just paying attention to what's going on with myself. That's the whole mindfulness thing. That's where all of this starts. Is you have to be aware. You have to notice that something's going on before you can do anything about it. So I'm probably 10 years actively, consciously practiced in trying to remember to, when something's going on, to pay attention to it. And it's still an ongoing practice. That's why I love the word practice. That's all it is. You just practice.
And it's never going to be over, is it? Let's face it. So it's a good thing to know about and to learn about.
Well, I've often said that once you got it all figured out, then you don't have to be here anymore, so you die. So there's a challenge to being alive, and if you like being alive, then you can either moan and groan about the challenges or just revel in the fact that it means your life.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. So here's one quick approach. A quick life hack. Follow him on Instagram for more. Letting go again. It's the answer to two of the questions we've had already this morning, and we will come back to Northern Portuguese. So, are you noticing you're having to practice more? I think it's fair to say a lot of people are having to practice more. What are your advanced tips then for when, I get this at the moment, it's kind of manifesting as a little bit of a digital detox. When I look at X, for example, and I see things about my native UK, this is the way it's designed, isn't it? I'm hooked to know more about some terrible headline. I want to get a sense of what's going on back home. I have loved ones there, and 20 minutes later, I'm in a right old state. Because, and I am doing some work to let go of that. And when I see myself getting agitated, I do have some sort of inroads into that. But I think that practice, that work is getting tougher and harder. So what are your advanced tips on this?
Stop watching X.
Okay, yes, done. Actually, I have taken your medicine. I preemptively. Yeah, absolutely right. So that you're absolutely right.
That's the easiest way, except for the addiction. You have to let go. Well, I guess there's an addiction to hanging on and suffering as well. So there's this sort of addictive quality to all these strong emotional things. And what draws us to social media now, unfortunately, is all the horrible things going on, the horrible things people are saying, how they attack, how they defend, the outright lies. It's like, and I don't know if this is by design or not. I don't tend to be a conspiracy theorist, but it's getting to a point where I don't know what's real and what's not when I'm looking at social media.
Same
I
here.
just don't know. Is that AI? So I'm looking really closely. How many fingers do they have? Are they blinking their eyes? Things like that. It's getting better and better. We're coming to a time where we won't be able to tell the difference. And there are outright lies. I saw an interview, and now I'm forgetting her name. Anyway, all this stuff was coming up on my social media about how she was in Texas helping babies, rescuing them from the river, and how all this stuff, and how she was fired from MSNBC and all these things. And she got on to I guess it was an MSNBC broadcast, and just told the truth about what was going on, which is none of that is true. None of it. I haven't even been to Texas for 3 years. I've only been there a couple times in my life. I don't have a child, much less a daughter that I'm struggling with or helping or whatever it is she's told to do. I didn't rescue anyone in Texas. All these things that were coming out about her. She just said that it's just not true. I wasn't fired from MSNBC. I'm just happy there. I love my job there.
James, somebody told the truth on the news. I mean,
imagine that. But it really woke me up because I was buying into all this stuff I was seeing on social media. Go, oh, MSNBC fired her, and oh, isn't that a great thing? How she helps, blah 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 blah. All this stuff I'm just buying totally into, hook, line, and sinker. And then to see her generally, and I actually had a moment going, "Is this real?" I don't think AI has gotten quite to that point yet. It all looked very genuine to me. So. Yes. Getting off is the thing. For me, the only reason I got on Facebook in the first place is so that I could maintain some contact with the people I know in my life. That was my sole reason for getting on Facebook. And now, if I don't have something to do in the morning, I'll scroll for an hour, just and I'm like caught up in it like anybody else. So
yes.
Truly, I say that I don't want to say the easiest. It's the simplest way to get away from the original question of how to manage all this mental discourse going on is just turn off the damn TV. Just turn it off.
People were saying this, weren't they, in the 1970s, James? And it looks like it's still very true. And that was when there were only 300 channels in the United States. Now you've got 3,000 plus all the social media as well.
Well, as I recall, it was changed to channel, but now it doesn't matter. You can go anywhere on social media and get the same crap wherever you go. As I understand, there are some sites that are really trying to focus on authentic and real information and real interaction. I don't know what those are because they don't come up. Because all I do is go to Facebook. But
now there was a presumption or a premise in what you said that I find interesting as well. That it's like you don't know what is true anymore, assuming that we did before. It was easier to believe that things were true before. I suppose.
I didn't say true. I said real.
Real.
To me, so it's like you and I here. I'm 99.99% sure that's really you talking to me, and I know for a fact it's me talking to that 99.99% certainty of you. So that's what I call real. Absolutely. Now, if you were AI, I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure you're not. And just based on there's a lot of things in actual human interaction that are very difficult for technology to replicate so far. As I said, I don't think we're far away, but so not knowing what's real, then why are we looking at it? And I saw the statistics somewhere, something like 90% of what you see on social media is just false, not real, AI generated, whatever. So why are we wasting?
That's the direction of travel as well, isn't it? That's only going to get, as it were, worse. Or, that's what we need to know, that is the reality of how unreal it is. It is becoming.
Yeah, well, when I first got onto Facebook, even now, and it's been, I don't know, over 20 years. Well, maybe not. Anyway.
It's getting on for that, though, isn't it, interestingly?
What?
It's getting on for that. I mean, this has been in our lives for quite a while now.
But, even now I've got what identified as 63 friends. It's like, people friend request me. If I don't know them, it's like, no, you're not my friend. I know not all of these people all 63 are friends, but I started with, I'm not going to friend anyone that I don't know. I couldn't tell you something about. That was my bottom line.
Yes.
And it's still true now, but I wasn't wrapped up in needing to have 1 million friends so I could tell people how liked I was. That didn't matter to me. I just wanted to be in contact with family and close friends in a way that telephone calls, I think part of the reason those have gone out is because you don't know. You pick up the phone, and there's the old fashioned pick up the phone.
Hello.
You could be, you could be, I don't want to say stuck, but engaged in a conversation for an hour when you don't want to spend an hour. You just want to see what they're up to and see how they're doing. So Facebook provided a great way to do that without, you could, oh, I see them doing this, or, oh, I see this is important. Oh, they had a baby, whatever. And then I can send a congratulations and it's done. Right. So that's why I did it. And I have pretty well maintained that. And as the introvert in me goes, I haven't acquired 3 million friends in that time.
Sadly, yes, I have succumbed to that sort of behaviour. But yeah, you make some excellent points, and perhaps the most brilliant of them all is just stop it, has been your advice on other topics previously.
Yeah, well, well, television is almost completely a thing of the past now too. But television news, any commercial news, I haven't been doing that for, well, now probably 30 years. Just because I knew even then, all it's going to do is bring me down. If they report on,
sorry,
I'm sorry.
But no, I just.
We're doing the dance. You go.
No, you go. You go.
No, I insist.
No, please. No, I was saying, how many times do we have to learn the lesson before we do it? And I think a lot of us are there with television now, aren't we? It's like, this is just nonsense.
Yeah, well, and on the news, my thinking was, if they report on 10 things, 9 of them are, world going to hell in a handbasket, and maybe one of them is something good that happened today. When I continue to believe that it's really probably the complete opposite. For every 10 things, there are 9 wonderful, beautiful, amazing things happening, and 1 horrific thing, which really, if you do the math, means, wow, look at all the good things going on, but you don't hear about those. So that's why for me, it's like, I don't need to do that. I certainly don't need to watch the advertisements, and I don't need to be brought down. So this is all, and it feels like it's just all this sort of tangential stuff, but it all goes to the fundamental practice I have is that of what I learned at Challenge Day, their mantra or motto of notice, choose, act. This is the notice part. Notice what's not working. Notice that I'm feeling down. Why am I feeling down? Oh, there's so much bad news. And I'm still hooked into what's going on in the US. And I thought that I had completely let go. But I look at the news about what's going on in the U.S. and I feel like I'm there, and I'm going to get picked up by ICE. It's the feeling internally when I'm not being conscious about it. I'll go out my front door and some guy with a rifle is going to come up to me and say, "Come with me. We suspect you're not legally in the country," or whatever. And it's, of all the people in the U.S., I would be one of the least likely for that to happen to, given that I'm a man and I'm white and I'm old and all these other things. But it's still possible. And when I watch that, it feels like this could be happening to me. So then the empathy.
It's the power of storytelling. We are going right back to archetypal storytelling, aren't we? And how when imagery and narratives are put in front of you, you assume and imagine, and your emotional system is hacked by the stories. I mean, it's no different, really, is it, to what we were taught as kids? Red Riding Hood, and the mainstream media, that they work on the same principles. Although we think one might be a little bit more sophisticated than the other. I'll let you guess which is which. And we have to turn our attention. We can. I'm sure we'll return to this subject, James. That we need to turn our attention to something lovely now, which is your Portuguese bird of the month. Thank you for all you've said so far this morning. And yes, by way of an aviation or air-based palate cleanser, perhaps, the house martin. Now, I'm glad we're choosing this bird because I'm never sure if I'm looking at a swift, a swallow, or a house martin. Can you help with that?
Sorry, I can't. I know there are distinctions. But they have to do with habitat and what they eat and where they're located. I think there's something in the wing shape that the swallows, maybe the swifts, have narrower wings and more curvature. I hear you can see this martin, and it's not all martins. It's got a pretty broad wing, but they get down to little subtle differences like that. Many of them nest the same way. This particular bird, I sent a photo, makes its nest out of mud. So it's usually near water. There it is.
Yes.
It can look like some of these Asian hornets' nests.
Exactly. Yes.
But it's actually mud. It's not the hornets make almost a cardboard type thing. I don't know how that works, and it's smoother and all that. But there's a similarity to it. But you'll see these nests up under the eaves of buildings generally. And the birds themselves, I've always said they're sort of the fighter jet of the bird family, because they can almost literally turn on a dime. And I think some people go, I don't know what people think about it. When I first saw it, I said, man, that's amazing. Look, this is tearing off in one direction at full speed, then boosh, it's going the other direction, 180 degrees. And what I learned along the way is they're actually picking off insects. So they're chasing an insect, they're grabbing it, and then they're going off to something else. So that's why you'll see flocks of them when there's maybe a bunch of mosquitoes out or a bunch of flies. They're out there just picking them off one at a time, bam, 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 just changing direction every 2 seconds. So they're pretty amazing to watch. What brought my eye to this bird, because I'm just going with birds I've actually seen in Portugal, and this is one of them. I don't even know how many swallows, swifts, and martins, how many species exist in Portugal. So I don't know, but this is the one I see. That what you're showing there is a mature bird. I send another one as a comparison. That's just sort of gray.
That one's being immature, a bit like T-Duck earlier on, just saying silly things like that. So is that what that bird's doing, flying through the air saying poo-poo?
Maybe you're making some joke about eating bugs, or I don't know.
About being immature.
Yes.
All right. Let's go back.
You can show me. I know exactly how to get every bug there is. Go away, Dad.
There's Dad.
That would be an immature teenage bird.
Well, thank you very much for sharing the martin. And I might just play a little bit of the house martins. We've got Bob and Viv waiting to join us. Thank you. So this month's bird of the month, see if you can see them, maybe even send in a photo. But it is the most beautiful thing, isn't it? And I don't know which of these acrobats of the air it is that I see in town or whatever. But in the evening, when the insects are in the air, when the thermals, when the insects are in the thermals and the birds come out in numbers and go have their dinner, it's the most beautiful thing. And I'd not seen it in quite this way before coming to Portugal. So it's another lovely reason to be living in Portugal, is to see these birds feeding of an evening. Final word, James, from you before we play the house martins. I think we'll play a little bit of the house martins before we welcome Bob and Viv.
Well, not unusually. We get. Well, maybe it's more to do with me than the topic, but we get onto a topic and we get, maybe 10% of it covered because there's so much in it.
Yes.
So I would love to continue the conversation about how do you manage the stress, or how do you manage the pressures from the outside world on you, which can include the whole mess that Ima has gotten stepped into with Seth, all this other stuff for people who are looking at being here, staying here. For me, just changing my damn address, it's like, oh my God, how much? So
I think, what a great service this will be. So ongoing, letting go, letting be, and dealing with the what appear to be increasing stresses of daily living, but still lots of beautiful life for us to reflect upon as well. So parts 27, 28, parts, I think we'll go into 3 figures on this subject.
We'll see. And it all goes to the simplicity, because it's not all that complex. It's the notice, choose, and act. And mostly what we dealt with today was noticing all these things, all these pressures. And I mentioned one choice is turn it off, stop looking at it. So
well, that was good advice.
But there's a lot to be said on the topic, and it's real even if you're not immigrating to a new country. But you put that on top of it, you just multiply the complexity and the challenges of it. So
well said, mate. Well said. Thank you. Great to see you. Make sure you subscribe to James's YouTube channel on Old Guy in Europe, where there are lovely trips down memory lane, some beautiful Good Morning Portugal memories in there, among many other things and insights from James. So thank you very much. Big round of applause for you, and a little bit of music, and they'll be up with Bob and Viv. Boa semana.
I just want to say this week I'm sharing my train trip to Vila Nova de Gaia. So that's coming up on Friday.
Good. Bit of train travel. So quite a good guide for anyone who wants to learn how to take the train and manage taking the train here in Portugal. Cheers, mate.
Well, at least see what it looks like.
At least see what it looks like. Sorry, that wasn't the phone. This is what I meant to click. Have a great month. See you soon, mate. Take care.
Thank you. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Okay, there he goes. There's James. A little bit of the House Martins, and then we'll be back after a little blast. I can't play the whole tune because we're keeping Bob and Viv waiting. In full stereo now, a bit of the House Martins. Well, it would be. Oh, there we go. It's happy.
Good place to be. Don't believe it. You speak a different language and it's never really happened to me. Don't believe it. Oh no, 'cause it's never really happened for me. No, it's another night out with a boss, following in footsteps, overgrown by mice and he's ugly. Good women go on trees, and if you catch them right, they will land upon the knees. Where they open all the wallets and they close all the minds.
What a good way to be.
Don't believe it, 'cause you speak a different language and it's never really happened to me. Don't believe it, oh no, 'cause it's never really happened for me. No, what a good place to be. Don't believe it.
That's a great tune, isn't it? That's the House Martins from Hull, all in the United Kingdom. It's time to bring Bob and Viv on with a nice big round of applause. Let me just make sure the settings are correct to do so. Yes, nice big round of applause. Here we go. Bob and Viv in the north of Portugal.
Good morning.
Good
Bom
morning.
dia.
Bom dia. Sí.
Well, tudo bem, all good there. And yes, I didn't get to ask the question that you put, Bob, about the northern accent. What do you find with that before we get into our talking point with you today? What do you find with the accent of northern Portugal, you both?
Well, we haven't been anywhere else, so I mean, not for long periods. Not for long periods. I mean, it's
Good
what
point.
we're used to.
But
Yes.
when we took that trip down through the central portion, we spent 9 days, and we've been back a few times in San Martino. And we even talked with Filomena about it. Of course, she's real close to Coimbra there. It was much easier to understand people.
Much.
And that's why I was
Seriously.
curious from James if he's noticed it more difficult now that he's up toward Porto. And we had a class get together at a local workspace with Maria, Vitor, Bianca, and Alexa, who manages the workspace. And we have a get together once a month. We were talking about it, and she and Maria, Alexa and Maria, started talking back and forth in the local dialect.
Couldn't understand a word.
Yeah.
Not a word.
Really?
And one of Vitor's comments to a new couple that's just arrived here, whose son lives up in a village, Ponta de Barca, a village above Ponta de Barca, and his neighbor. They get the impression his neighbor's lonely, and so she'll come and she'll talk to him and just keep going, and he understands nothing. But Vitor spoke up in this conversation. He says, quite frankly, where that village is, I may not have understood anything.
That's good to know, isn't it? That is really
Yeah.
forgiving, and
So
yes, lets you off the hook.
Yeah. So anyway, we did notice it was slower. It's slower down in the central area.
And up here, they take 5 words and make them.
Yes, very interesting. Very interesting. I think it's like this, isn't it?
Vieram aqui para uma maninho, que é maninho de liberdade.
That's your neighbour, isn't it? An actual recording of your neighbour.
Pretty close. Yeah. That's how all the cats talk of me.
Well, that's like they've been working on our street out front, and Tim's comment at one point is, "I hope we haven't created a monster," because the fella relaying the cobbles, because we're on a cobble street, and so the fellow relaying the stones.
He was amazing.
He
He worked
he
by
was-
himself.
Yeah, all
Yep.
day long, down on his knees,
Yeah.
one leg, whatever. He's been doing it. So we started talking. The monster we created was
Alfred and water.
yeah,
He goes,
yeah,
No,
Cervasia.
Cervasia.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That's what I was going to say.
We had to
You've
go
got
by
to get
beer.
some Superbock minis in, haven't you? I think actually up in the north it's probably more Superbock, isn't it? But some Superbock minis, end of every day, that man needs a cold beer, doesn't he?
Oh yeah,
But-
and he got
but
them for
forget the-
lunch and
Yeah,
breaks. And we kept him supplied the entire all the
Good.
way up the street.
yeah, and they're not minis. No.
No, they're not minis;
No,
they're whole
no.
bottles.
Yes. Actually, yeah. What was I thinking? What was I
Yeah,
thinking? Definitely not
exactly.
minis.
A mini is
But,
just a taste.
But
Yeah,
actually,
absolutely.
it wasn't was it super? I don't remember. He asked
I don't know what
specifically
you're on.
between the two, so I think maybe it was Superbock. But
No, I think he asked for Sagres.
he did. He
Really?
asked for
I
Sagres.
thought the northern thing was Sagres, but yeah, okay. But I mean, the point being, make sure if you've got workmen outside your house, work women
beer now.
as well, of course.
Mhm.
Make sure there's some cold beer, because yeah,
Yeah.
I've had that where I've said, "Do you want some water?" It's like, why would I want water? Have you not got any beer? It's like,
I know.
yeah,
Now
okay,
we did give him a grande agua every day too. So we just kind of, while he was in our block, we just kind of kept him supplied. But he knew I was only catching a word here and there.
Mhm.
But you think he'd slow down?
No.
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 We
Keep up.
enjoyed him a lot. It was
We
fun.
did. We
It
really
was a
liked
lot of
him.
fun.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, superb. Well, I'm glad we haven't cleared that up. So let's talk about a familiar pattern here. It's interesting. It's like, how to conversations with James and with you both now. And also the other thing I noticed is that there's a pattern to the last couple of conversations that we've all had, the three of us. Last time it was karaoke, look, Chinese food and losing your phone in Portugal. And you had a lovely story, didn't you? You'd been to the karaoke, you'd gone home and eaten some Eastern food. Same as the last time I saw you. You came to the karaoke and you went back and you had Black Cat ramen in Leria.
Yeah,
that's
we
true.
did.
that's-
Yeah.
Yes, you
yeah.
didn't lose your phone this time, though.
By your
No, we
recommendation.
didn't lose our
Okay.
phone.
No.
Thank goodness.
No,
No.
no. But,
Okay. Yeah, go on, Bob. Sorry.
No, I said, yeah, Black Cat Ramen in Leria by your recommendation. Yeah, it was an
Very
experience.
good. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Very
Yes.
good once you got
food.
past the ordering.
Good food.
My
Yeah.
main criticism is, why can't I just have a menu? Why are you making
Exactly.
me?
It's like, it's always really necessary. Can we not just have a menu?
Yes, there are humans there, obviously, aren't there, who could come and just say, "What would you like?" And you could say,
Right.
"One of these, please." Picture even better.
Right.
But when you have to spark up a tablet and not really understand the language and the complexity, and you're
Right.
going back and forth from, "Do I want this one?" which was like 27 images I looked at ago. That's a
Yeah.
bit stressful. So let's
it was.
see if we can
It
get
was.
Black
So
Cat.
we
to have
enjoyed
it.
it.
But the
Yeah,
food was great.
Yeah,
It was really good.
we did enjoy it. So,
Yeah.
Good.
anyway,
And-
but no, we kept the phone this time.
Yeah, we did.
Well done. Excellent stuff.
Done.
Excellent stuff. Right. And this conversation, which I'm going to have to keep you a little bit longer for, if that's all right. We're already at 9
Sure.
o'clock. I
Wow,
don't think
listen, really.
I'm never going to get good at this timekeeping thing. Thank God I'm in Portugal. It segues nicely with letting go, and the challenge people are having of keeping an eye on what's going back home and being able to let go of it. And then after that is not only seeing news that might be of interest to you, but then having maybe a conversation with someone else about that news, and how we've noticed in the last few years how that can go south and or a little bit awkward as well. And some work to do there. I take this very seriously. I don't expect everyone to agree with me, but I do like it that we might have a respectful and friendly dialogue nonetheless. And we seem to be on a bit of a precipice with that. It can go which we fall off from time to time.
Right.
I've got two
Right.
conversations myself. I've decided to actually phone two people up who I've had run-ins with through the show, and you know, my sort of public representation, what they think of me, things I've said. And I've thought, okay, well, I'll just ring them up. I'm gonna speak to a man to man about this and see what can happen. And then we can, at least, instead of like, oh, I'm blocking you or slagging
Right.
each other off, sniping from the sidelines, it's going to be like,
Yeah.
well, can we just respectfully agree to disagree? We don't have to be in each other's lives, but should we just leave it at that? That's what I'm hoping for. Or maybe we
I hope so.
misunderstood each other, you know, because sometimes, you know, friendship can come from seeming, you know, one of my best lifelong friends, the first thing we did was have a scrap at school, and then we became great friends. So it's possible, isn't it? It's possible that you
It is
can
possible.
get past this stuff, and there seems to be a lot of it about what's on your mind then, because Bob, you initiated this. What's on your mind around this and the civil discourse?
Well,
Like,
just basically, I was doing a little chatting with Chat yesterday before Viv got up, and then we started talking about it. The difference between assumptions and perceptions. And so much of communication these days seems to be based on assumptions.
yes,
And from the perspective of civil discourse that we were talking about, it is what in the world shifted that the assumption is the rule. And what brought it about was actually a friend of ours who's a writer and has been traveling around Portugal doing some writing. And she said, meeting these people that she's been interviewing and so forth,
sorry, that was
challenged
the cat, not me. Beg your pardon.
challenged her assumptions. And we, well, way back, we've talked about with you about people assuming that anything about Portugal is going to be anything like the US, for example. But it just flat out isn't. Europe isn't like the US.
We're not in Kansas. We're not in Kansas anymore.
We're not
at all.
We're not. And thank goodness.
And so this author and I, we haven't followed up. I just asked, and she said, well, the assumptions don't show up in my writing, but she said it's really getting to meet the people and talk to them.
They're not what she thought they were, apparently.
Yeah.
You know, and I think in a good way.
And I think
So it's challenging her about what do I assume about people that I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we, you know, us about Brits about us. We know Brits here that just flat out said very, very early on, I don't like Americans. Period.
Yeah.
Just general statement.
Like, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You don't know me from Adam.
Yeah.
And
All right.
so why?
That's what's so great about the British: open-minded, generous.
So open-minded. Oh,
Now you're making generalizations or speaking truth or
Pardon me.
well, he can because he are
he
one.
is. We are one.
I'm
So
owning it.
anyway,
Yeah.
and we ask ourselves that all the time: is are we assuming this?
Yeah.
Because what came out of it is had something to do with mirrors, assumptions.
Well, look in the mirror and say your assumption and see if it.
Yeah,
What
it
do you
says
think?
more about me.
It says more about me, you know, or whoever's got
Always.
the assumption than it does the whole
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And that's what this hellish situation that we've been talking about this morning has to offer us, I think, isn't it? It's like,
It
okay,
does.
well, here we are. You know, it would appear that there's, you know, massive fallings out and people chucking their toys and everything. So what else is possible here? You know, we have got this far. We've got into this situation. We've got into the constant thrusting of opinions and other positions into our faces. There's no going back on that, it would appear. And now also we don't know if they're real or not because of AI. So it does
Right.
make a lot of sense to do what you've said, which is to rewind, step back and go, okay, so before I get mad, and that's also a good sign, isn't it? If something is
It is.
being triggered,
It's
then
emotional.
maybe there is an assumption in there or something that
Oh,
deserves.
definitely.
Yeah, you've got a choice, haven't you? It's like, do I keep attacking the thing in front of me, or do I address the thing inside of me that outside phenomenon has appeared to stimulate? And you guys,
Right.
I think, are doing the latter, generally speaking, right?
That's
Yes.
our that's our
We do.
desire,
Yeah.
and fortunately, we're a good enough match that we can analyze it, challenge each other sometimes, ask questions,
Yeah.
try to get deeper. But one of the things that you just said triggered a thought. Triggered.
Trigger now. Watch out.
You know me. I've got a jingle for that. Here we go. Now that was loud, and we've had that for 5 years now. We've needed it. Go on, Bob.
Yes.
Well, what struck me, and going back to what James was talking about, not knowing what's AI, what's not, just maybe for those of us who want to be perceptive, rather than presumptive,
Yes.
having to watch what's on video. That's a talented cat.
That's a very talented cat.
Having to watch carefully and consider what we're seeing. Is this AI or is this the person?
Yeah.
Maybe by retuning that listening, because of what's happening with the AI, maybe we will be able to bring that thoughtfulness into listening to other people, to hear who they are rather than assume who they
And we
are.
know. Yeah, because we
Upside
don't know.
again, right? The potential or hidden upside of this
Yeah.
seeming horror. So we're
Yeah.
polishing up our perception and our listening skills because we're having to be more perceptive.
Right.
Yeah. So, do you suppose? Maybe.
Who knows? Time will tell. But it is certainly an option, isn't it? And it's a possibility for humanity in this. That it's almost like the AI phenomenon, and all of this is like the Monty Python big wet fish around the face, isn't it? It's like smack. They whoa, I'm having to think about what's real and not real. That's quite a gift, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very
And-
good. Very, very good.
And you do.
It's kind of surreal, but yes, you do have to wonder when you see things, is this real? Or did
Yeah.
somebody make this and put it up for funsies?
Yeah.
And Mel made a good point before. It kind of accentuates what is real, isn't it? So IRL, in real life, we're perhaps
Yes.
being prompted as well to see and meet each other more in real life. There we go. The good thing is it makes our face-to-face daily life interactions feel more real and precious. Isn't that a great gift to come out of this potentially?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I think so. And people have to be willing.
Yes,
Mhm.
no question about that. Right? There's got to be the will, hasn't there? There's got to be the
Yeah.
will. Yeah.
Yeah. If not, there's no point in trying.
Yep, Sarah as well. You're thinking about Rachel Maddow. This is the name that James was trying to find. I rode across America with someone who never
Oh,
voted the way I do. Turns out there are other things. Absolutely, and it comes as quite a shock sometimes, doesn't it? We're perhaps a little bit embarrassing, isn't it, to know that we've kept an assumption alive for 40 or 50 years. But it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to let it go, isn't it? It's okay
It
to let it go.
is.
Free
Yeah.
ourselves, free the other person.
Yeah, I was. It was some time ago. We were with a group that meets regularly on Friday nights of English speakers, and from across the world, literally.
Yeah, there's
And
all kinds of nationalities there.
and I wasn't saying much, and somebody asked me, and I just grinned. And I said, just listening, and it's fascinating to just sit back and listen and process, particularly for me, because I used to be one of those when I was young. It was if it came across my mind, it came out my mouth, you know. And
Yes, I know
Thank
that.
God that's not true anymore.
Yep, guilty
so
here.
yeah, I enjoy sitting in a group and just listening.
Oh.
See,
Yeah.
and trying to learning to ask open-ended questions. Um, Sarah Taylor, one of the ones I learned from her is that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah.
And it may lead to more information, it may not.
Absolutely.
But anyway, but
And
yeah,
very interesting, Bob, as well. You know, when you're sat quietly, often someone else's question seeing you is, "Are you okay? Is there
Exactly.
is there something wrong?" No.
Okay. Like, I'm having a grand time just listening.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
Been here
thank you
drinking
both.
my coffee and listening.
Thank you very much, both of you, for that. Your thoughtfulness and your addition there. I've got a dog and a kitten having a fight in the studio. They're playing, and it's it's
Yeah.
lovely to see. You know, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They are having a beautiful time, play fighting with each other.
I can just see him gnawing on that kitten.
And they're the same color, so it's hard to see what's what.
I know, it's hard to tell them apart.
It's a beige melee on a Monday morning. So
Yeah.
I'm going to have to deal with that before something terrible happens in here.
I do have one question about your new studio.
Go on.
Are you a little bored with it?
He really said that, Carl. He really said that.
Where's my
sorry.
dad joke? We
Yeah.
used to have a dad joke jingle, didn't we? Which was like,
Oh,
oh,
Yeah, I
no.
missed the dad jokes.
Yeah.
We got to bring that. We got a lot. Yes.
Is live going to be daily or just spot pop-ups, or do you know
No.
yet?
This is it. That we are back. I made a mistake.
Okay.
It's going to be 8 to 9 every morning with music.
Okay.
Now that brings with it. I mean, the good news is that we're back 8 till 9 for those who like that. And the
Mhm.
music, I think, is a great addition. But we've got to figure out how that can work, because it's difficult to do a show with music in terms of being on YouTube and so on. So, the caveat is, if we want music, we'll have to think about how we do that in an ongoing way and without getting into too much trouble. But I'm sure we can figure that out. And on that note, you subjected, that sounds really negative.
Subjected you to a song.
You're going to subject us to a song now. No, you submitted your request, which is Miguel Araújo, which is, I think, a northern name. Actually, I know of other people from the north of Portugal with that name. Saudade, of course. Tell us about this, and we'll go out with this morning. So thank you both for being here. Tell us about this tune.
Well, the music video is just really, really cute.
Yeah.
We haven't sat down and the lyrics, it's one of those on YouTube Music that the lyrics aren't available. And so I've been doing a little searching on the lyrics so I make sure I understand it. But just from the perspective of the music, the video, the joyfulness, it's a song that, funnily enough, Maria ran across it and shared from a language perspective to develop an earworm of a Portuguese.
It's easy to understand.
Yeah. And she'd actually never listened to the whole thing. So I asked her one day, well, what's it really? I said, I love this song. What's it really about? She said, I don't know. I haven't listened.
No idea.
She just ran across it. But it's just a pick me up. It's just
in the video, he's looking for love, and love is right behind him or to the side of him. And it's this big heart with legs.
Yeah.
Big red heart and a black and white. In the video, black and white.
No.
Yeah.
It's worth looking up then, for a great video and some great vocabulary. So good for tuning your Portuguese ear.
Yeah.
Thank you both. So Saudade by Miguel Araújo with Os Quatro e Meia as well. That's the name of another band presumably working on this, and we'll add this to our growing collection of Portuguese music at the Portugal Club.
Okay.
Have a great week, boa semana, bom dia, e see you até a próxima next month. Thank you both. Nice big round of applause.
Hey.
Yeah, ciao.
And I think it's time to put a tune in stereo. Here we go. Ciao, ciao.
Matei a tarde, então morri de tédio. Não vi remédio, não liguei nada ao bom senso. Não pensei. Comprei tempo, então vendi a alma. Perdi a calma e não liguei nada ao juízo. Nem pensei. Liguei. Se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, é ela que me mata a mim. Se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, é ela que me mata a mim. Matei a fome, então vivi mais uma vida. Outra que perdi, eu já sabia e não liguei. Liguei. Se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, é ela que me mata a mim. Se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, é ela que me mata a mim. Nunca combinamos bem, e o combinado era não ligar, não liguei. Sei que não ligamos bem, mas nem pensei. Não liguei, não liguei, não liguei, liguei. Se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, é ela que me mata a mim. Se eu não mato a saudade, se eu não mato a saudade, é ela que me mata a mim, é ela que me mata a mim.
So if you've got a Portuguese tune that you'd like me to play on the morning show, I think this is working. Be careful saying things like that. But yeah, if you've got a Portuguese tune, do let me know. Maybe join the Portugal Club and let me know over there on the page that I've got up at the moment. Or actually on the timeline in the comments, let me know. Thank you to James. Thank you to Bob and Vim. And thank you to you. Have a great week. Take care and bye for now.
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts